What's up everybody, it's Sean here and I'm back today to give you guys my review of the newest New Balance lifestyle silhouette, the New Balance 2010 in this Dockside and Indigo colorway. Today's video is sponsored by Capsule. Capsule is a brand new product on the market and it helps extend the life of your sneakers by up to 2 times. So the product is scientifically backed and it's a very simple process I'll show you right now. So basically you put your shoes inside this UV protective pod, which is sealed and it's completely airtight. And by keeping it in this pod, it targets the 2 main reasons why your shoes fade, age, and crumble over time, which is hydrolysis and oxidization. So once you put your shoes inside this pod, then you inject their secret sauce, which comes in the form of a cartridge, and this is injected directly into this pod, which not only pushes out the bad air within it containing the oxygen and the dirt, but it pushes in the preservative, which is really the key to extending the life of your sneakers. So this is best used, in my opinion, for those grail type sneakers, the ones that you wear sparingly and you want to keep them looking fresh. So for example, the Off-White Air Max 97s, this is a shoe maybe I wear a couple times a year. So by keeping it in the capsule system, it ensures they stay crispy white for longer than if they were just left in their box on a shelf. So I'll add their social media, their website, all of that good stuff down below. So check them out, do your own research. It's totally understandable if you're a bit skeptical, but if you do decide to check out Capsule, tell them that you heard about them through my videos. So this right here is the latest New Balance lifestyle silhouette, which is officially called the Abzorb 2010. But for the remainder of this video, I'm just gonna call them the 2010. So this debut colorway is the Dockside and Indigo colorway, and they retail for a price of $160 US or $195 here in Canada. The official product code for this shoe is U2010AGY. And this pair is made in Vietnam and it's priced at kind of that mid-tier level. So it's not as expensive as a made in USA or a UK New Balance sneaker, but it's also not that cheap either. So jumping into the details of the shoe itself, as we start things off with the toe box, you'll see how this is covered in this diamond style mesh in this green color. If you look real close, it has this contrast silver stitching within it, and then overlaid on both sides of the toe box, we have this synthetic dark gray overlay, and then right at the edge of the toe box, we have this silver reflective layer, and then overlaid on top of this, we have a genuine nubuck layer, which feels very soft and buttery to the touch. Moving downwards, covering the bottom 2 eyelets, we have a dark gray colored nubuck, and then stitched on top of this, we have this oversized New Balance N logo. This is also reflective, and it's done in a mix of silver, white, and gray. Covering the very top 3 eyelets, we have more of that gray colored nubuck. This feels super soft to the touch. And then moving downwards towards the heel, we have a mix of that green colored mesh, that dark gray synthetic overlay, and that genuine nubuck. And then on the very top of the heel, we have another reflective silver layer, and we have New Balance branding here as well. As far as the laces go, this pair only comes with 1 lace option, and they're a flat, dark gray colored lace. Beneath this, the tongue is also crafted out of that diamond-shaped mesh that we saw earlier on the toe box. In the middle, we have this synthetic nubuck overlay in dark gray, and then we have another reflective layer on the very top of the tongue, once again with New Balance branding here too. The back of the tongue and the interior of the shoe, this is covered in this lighter gray colored liner, and it's pretty decently padded, not overly stuffed, but it's not that thin either. And then for the insoles, these come with a pretty well padded, foam-lined insole. It's covered in this white finish on top, and then on the heel we have both New Balance and 2010 branding. So the upper of the shoe, it sits atop the star of the show, which is a very chunky Abzorb foam midsole. So the midsole is painted in this medium gray colored finish, and in addition to Abzorb, we also have Abzorb SBS. These are these gel-like pods visible on both the lateral heel, as well as wrapping around the entire back of the midsole as well. So the Abzorb has a pretty soft feel to the touch, but by incorporating Abzorb SBS, it gives you more of that responsive feel and more shock absorption. And then for the bottom of the shoe, so the outsole here is relatively simple. So this is a black colored rubber, but we have hits of green and blue featured here as well. You can see we have these grooves to give you some added flexibility, and there's New Balance branding running down the heel. And in between the 2 segmented rubber pods, we have a translucent TPU shank plate. This is New Balance's stability web technology, which helps with torsional rigidity and midfoot support. So that breaks down the look and the construction of this shoe. And I'm sure the $1 million question is, how do these fit? I was very curious and I had no idea myself. So I got these in both a size 10, which is my true size, as well as a size 9.5, which is my typical made in USA New Balance size. So trying both of these on, I feel like going true to size fits me best. So in my case, I'm a true size 10, slightly on the wider side, and the size 10 fit me really comfortably. That's the same size I'm gonna wear in, for example, the 2002R, 860V2, 1906R, 1500, and 991. So in simple terms, get your typical made in Asia New Balance size, which for me is true to size. I didn't really feel any hot spots around the shoe. Maybe if anything, the midfoot area was a little snug, but not to the point where I noticed it to be uncomfortable. And if I'm nitpicking, I could feel the edge of the toe around this area right here. I could kind of feel it brushing against the edge of my big toe. Again, not to the point where it was uncomfortable, but something to consider if you have a really wide foot. You might want to consider going up half a size. But on the other hand, trying these on in a size 9.5, which is what I normally wear for models like the 992, 993, and most of the 990 series, I felt like they were a little bit too snug to go a half size down. There was just under an index finger's width space between the top of the shoe and the top of my toe, and I could really feel the edge of the shoe brushing against my big toe to the point where it was like borderline uncomfortable. So I know that's a lot of information, but long story short, go with your typical made in Asia New Balance size and it should fit you okay. Next up, in terms of the comfort, so these were actually surprisingly comfortable. Just from watching other people's reviews, people were kind of saying that the comfort wasn't that amazing, but honestly, I felt like these are pretty good. The full-length Abzorb foam, it has a decent softness to it, especially underneath the heel. When you put your full weight backwards, you can really feel the squishiness of it, but by incorporating Abzorb SBS, it gives you more of a rebound and more of that bouncy feel, so they're definitely not overly soft, and they don't feel mushy at all. It has a pretty good balance of softness with responsiveness, and I'd say that they feel a little bit softer underfoot than a typical 1906R. But that's just my opinion. Let me know in the comment section down below for those that have tried this model, what did you think about the overall comfort of this shoe? Finally, in terms of the quality and the craftsmanship, so first off, material quality I thought was pretty standard. We have a mix of genuine nubucks, which feels very soft to the touch, and then the rest of the shoe is just synthetics, textiles, things like that. So for the price point you're paying, I think you get what you pay for, but I thought the build of the shoe was a little bit sloppy. There were quite a few areas where I had to cut off excess string or threading, and my pairs had noticeable glue stains around the midsole area where it connects to the upper. So it's nothing amazing, but I'd say that it's fairly in line with a typical New Balance made in Asia shoe. So with all of that out of the way now, let me toss these on feet, I'll lace them up, and I'll show you guys how these look. All in all, I actually came away feeling a lot more impressed with this model just compared to my initial thoughts when I first saw the leaked images of it. So now that I know how these feel and what size to go for, I'm personally really excited to see future colorways. I know there's a couple of Kith collabs coming out, I think later on this month. And like I mentioned, I was pleasantly surprised by the comfort of this shoe. So I think I'm officially a fan of this model. As far as this colorway goes, I think it's decent. It has more of that trail or hiking shoe look to it, almost like a beef and broccoli colorway. So I don't think this is necessarily a head turner, but it's a pretty versatile colorway, especially in the fall season. I just don't think I'll wear this colorway too much currently and in the summer. So let me know your thoughts down below. What are your overall thoughts on the New Balance 2010? What are your thoughts on the silhouette, and what are your thoughts on the colorway specifically? Like I said, I didn't expect to like these as much as I do, so let's talk about this shoe in the comment section below. And as usual, if you guys enjoyed this review, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can follow me on my social media accounts. I'll link all of that stuff down below. And again, thank you to Capsule for sponsoring today's video. So until next time, thanks everyone for tuning in, and I'll catch you all in my next video.